Well, hey there. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show. I am, of course, your host, John Campea. This is the show where we celebrate and talk about the things we love. Movies and movie news, TV and streaming and all sorts of good stuff. I'm joined, of course, in studio today by our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
Technical producer, that was my job today for sure.
Yeah, we're starting today's show a little bit late. We had some technical issues, but Jonathan got them figured out. Of course, writer, director, producer, Robert Meyer Burnett.
Does that mean I can talk about Star Trek today?
Is there ever a day you don't?
No.
I didn't think so. And of course, most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a few predetermined topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take live comments and questions from you. If you guys are watching right now, you can use our tip link simply at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Send on in a topic or question as long as we deem it appropriate to be read on the show. We'll address it in the second part of the show. Oh, and by the way, that tip link is actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to our podcast, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not live, well, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys. That all down. Go, Jays, go. Let's get things started here, shall we? And we're going to start off with this. Well, there's a new Scream movie. We knew this for a while. Scream 7 is, of course, coming. Neve Campbell's back this time.
Hello,
back from her
Cindy.
self-exile after they refused to pay her for the last couple ones. I guess they decided to pony up this time. And of course, what is a Scream movie if it doesn't have Neve Campbell? So she's back. Of course, Ghostface is back. Courtney Cox is back. And it's a murder and there's knives and stabby. So the trailer came out. Not bad.
Yeah.
I got to say, not bad. Now, listen, admittedly, let me just be full disclosure here. I'm not the biggest fan in the world of the Scream franchise, but I've really liked the last couple of them. Like, especially the one 2 ones ago. The first one that had, what was her name? Barrera and Wednesday, Jenna Ortega. That first one with them in it, I got to say, I had a lot of fun with that one. The next one was still pretty good. It was still pretty good. So now here we are back. Neve Campbell's back, all that kind of stuff. And of course, the phone call. Hello, Sydney. And I got to say, I think the trailer's pretty good. I really like the shot where the girl's falling off from the second floor.
Oh, yeah.
And she's falling down. The guy's laying there with a knife up. Pretty good shot. I did like that. That looks pretty cool. But I got to say, something that I really started to bother me, I guess, a couple of Scream movies ago, is really highlighted here again. The main weakness to me of the Scream franchise is the fact that there is no villain. At least no series villain. And you might say, but John, it's Ghostface. There is no Ghostface. That's the thing. In Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is Freddy. In Friday the 13th, Jason is Jason. In Halloween's, Michael Myers is Michael. It's Michael that's in all of them. It's Freddy that's in all of them. It's Jason that's in all of them. The Scream franchise, there is no Ghostface. It's just that every new movie, there's a new person who decides to go to the Halloween store,
don the mask,
pick up a Ghostface mask and say, oh, now I'm Ghostface. And so, like, I'm watching this. The reason it really stood out to me in this trailer, not this time, City. Wait, you weren't around. You're new. Whoever you are, you're new.
It's 30 years on.
Another copycat wannabe who came along and happens to be a serial killer. And again, I say this as somebody who had a lot of fun with a couple of films back. Didn't mind the last one. I'm going to be there to see this one too. But this trailer, especially the way the Ghostface character is almost talking nostalgically, it's like, you're not Ghostface, whoever you are, unless
the dead speak.
Well, in a manner.
Somehow Matthew Lillard has returned.
If they decide to go, you know what, let's make Scream a supernatural horror. Which it's never been.
No.
But and listen, why not? It's a horror franchise. If they decide to go, this is supernatural horror, and that Skeet Ulrich, underneath the mask, and Matthew Illard and whatever,
Maybe it's both of them under one costume.
maybe they're like,
Hey, all right.
maybe they're like Voldemort in the first Harry Potter, where it's like
He's just
Matthew
the head.
Illard's face on the front and Skeet Ulrich's face on the back. I don't think that's the way they're going.
He's holding the phone to the head in the back.
To the back. Someone wants to talk to you. I guess, listen, again, I don't think it's a bad trailer. I really don't. I actually think it's a pretty good trailer. It's just that the way they handle Ghostface in this really kind of pushed the button on me. It kind of hit the sensitive spot of, but that's not Ghostface. That's not a returning killer. This isn't somebody who has a grudge with Sydney, at least not the 30-year one that we know and talk about. Anyway, Rob, I'm kind of letting that issue hijack my enjoyment of the trailer a little bit, which isn't fair, to be honest, and I admit that. But anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see the trailer for Scream 7. What did you think about it?
Well, I kind of have an adjunct issue with the Scream
That's
franchise.
not a word we use enough.
The Scream franchise, it's almost like Nazis. Nazis lose. They lost in World War II. They keep losing. Ghostface is like Nazis. Ghostface just keeps losing
Every
for
time.
30 years.
He's the biggest loser in horror.
Yeah, and you're like, why would you choose to emulate?
He's the Dallas Cowboys of horror franchises.
I mean,
I think
like-
Dallas Cowboys is a horror franchise.
they are.
You started out as a powerhouse, 2 serial killers. You almost got away with it, but you got defeated. And it's like, then people keep taking up the mantle of a loser.
Oh.
And I'm sorry. And look, I enjoy, my friend Alvaro loves the Scream franchise, loves the whole meta nature of it all. But I'm like, I would rather like go for a serial killer that was really successful, that murdered tens of people. But the Ghostface killers, I mean, I understand there's people that worship Ghostface we've seen. There's all kinds of Ghostface killers. And it's like, why not just go after Ted Bundy? Be a Ted Bundy. Ted was successful,
Till he wasn't.
Till he was. Yeah, because all serial killers get defeated. But here's the thing. Something keeps bringing me back. Maybe it's the filmmaking, because it's their widescreen. Maybe it's the fact that I like the characters, the meta nature of it all. There's something about it. But John, when you get to 7, 7's a tough number.
Yes.
7 was where the Fast and the Furious franchise started to lose me.
I like 7.
Furious 7, jumping between buildings, that was a little rough. But I still enjoyed it, and I will be there with bells on.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new Scream trailer? Listen, I like seeing Neve Campbell back.
I do too.
I'm a lifelong fan of Courtney Cox. I got to say, in and of itself, on its own merits, it's actually not a bad little trailer. It's actually a pretty good little trailer.
I like the flaming house.
Yeah, the
that
little
was a-
imagery
that
of
was a cool
Ghostface
shot.
walking away, even though that is not Ghostface because there is no Ghostface.
Right.
Anyway, whatever you guys thought about it,
We're all Ghostface.
we're
John.
all Ghostface. If I can be Ghostface, then you can be Ghostface. What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on and talk about this.
This is wild.
This is one of the wilder things that we will talk about today. If not the wildest thing we're going to talk about today. You guys remember that Amazon did a remake of Roadhouse. And you know what? I thought it was fun.
It was.
I had a good time with it. And I thought it was very appropriate that in bringing it into today's setting, they used MMA as the background and Jake Gyllenhaal as a failed UFC fighter and all that kind of stuff. And I had fun with it. Was it perfect? No. Was it better than the original? Hell no. But it was a really fun little movie and I enjoyed it. And then you guys might remember there was drama. K-drama, if you will.
K-pop drama.
But the director of the film, Doug Liman, out of nowhere, announced that he wasn't going to promote the film. He wasn't even going to go to the premiere, although he did end up showing up. But he wasn't even going to go to the premiere, none of this kind of stuff, because they had promised him, according to him, Amazon had promised him this was going to be a theatrical release. Turns out, part of his contract's compensation was based on box office returns. And they had promised him they would do a theatrical release for it. And then they didn't. They put it straight to Amazon, and he said, F you, and he's kind of separated himself from the film. Which, again, is too bad, because I thought he did a pretty darn good job on that film. Well, we know that Amazon is now doing a sequel. I think they're already filming. And they've got Jake Gyllenhaal back, and it's a sequel to the one they just did. But hold the phone. Liken unto Dante's Peak and Volcano.
Dante's Superior.
White House Down and Olympus Has Fallen.
Olympus Has Fallen is superior.
Doug Liman, according to this report in Deadline, is making his own Roadhouse 2, only it's not a sequel to his Amazon one. It's a direct sequel to the original Patrick Swayze one, going to be called Roadhouse 2 Dylan.
Got your ass.
And so now we have 2 Roadhouse sequels being made.
Nice.
Now, here's...
Nice.
Now, if you are sitting there asking yourself, how the hell could there be 2 sequels being made at the same time? Well, it's a very interesting story.
It is.
You guys might remember that recently, we talked about on the show a couple years ago, but this thing has passed where a creator of a property, as long as they weren't under the employ of a studio while they were doing it, if some screenwriter just on their own wrote a script for something and sold the rights, the movie rights to it, they can get their rights back to that movie after what?
35 years.
35 years.
It reverts back to them.
The rights revert back to the original creator. Again, as long as they weren't an employee of the studio.
Has to be a spec script.
Has to be spec,
Original.
something that they wrote on their own and then just kind of farmed out the rights to it, right? So the original writer is saying, hey, the rights have come back to me. I own the rights to this. Amazon is arguing that, well, no, you were a at-will employee of the studio. He's saying, no, I wasn't. I wrote a spec script. So now there's this battle about who actually has the rights to it. So where does Doug Liman come in? Well, Doug Liman knows the original writer of the original Roadhouse, and he has acquired the rights from that writer to do a true sequel to the original Roadhouse. So not only, this is drama, this is layered drama. Because not only do we have Doug Liman giving the big double FUs to Amazon saying, I'm going to make my own, there's also a legal drama going on about who's even got the rights to do these things. This is one of the crazier scenarios I have seen come up in movie world in a while. And, you know, a friend of mine sent me the link to this yesterday and said, this smells like a conflict, whatever. I said, no. This smells like spite. Spite, my friends, with a dash of vengeance, is being put in there by Doug Liman. Now, look, as an outsider looking in, Justin in the live chat just said, please both come out on the same day. Please both come out on the same day. I want to see the Jake Gyllenhaal sequel.
I do too.
I kind of also want to see this Doug Liman Roadhouse Dylan sequel.
I do too.
So now would this be in modern day with Dylan's child now all grown up? Would this be set back in the 80s with a new actor, maybe Glenn Powell, coming in to reprise the role of Dylan to pick up the torch for Patrick Swayze? I don't know, but I'm interested. This is a lot of hot drama and I'm here for it. Anyway, Rob, you saw this story. What make heads or tails out? What's going to happen here?
Well, first of all, there's a lawyer who's, I think he's mentioned in this story, named
Yes, he is.
Mark Toberoff, who specializes in this. He was involved in the Friday the 13th case
That's
for
right.
Victor Miller.
Yep.
In that case, so the rights to the original Friday the 13th script that he wrote on spec that Sean Cunningham made reverted back to him. But the thing is, the Jason Voorhees that we know and love does not appear in the original Friday the 13th.
That's right.
With the hockey mask. So who owns it? That's why they can make a Crystal Lake series that A24 is making.
By the way, let me just interject here because I think it'll go to your point. One of our viewers just made an excellent comparison. Mikey Dreamer. I don't know if you can find this one, Jonathan. Mikey Dreamer is saying, so this is similar to the 1983 with Never Say Never Again and Octopussy releasing in the same year. I think that is a very astute observation. There are many similarities to that.
Now, the difference with that was Kevin McClory, who was producing the first Bond movie that was developed, was Thunderball. And Albert Broccoli and another producer named Kevin McClory were teamed up on that. But they didn't end up making that first. The Broccoli's and Harry Saltzman made Dr. No, but then they made Thunderball the fourth and first widescreen Bond film. But Kevin McClory was a producer on that movie. And he fought over the rights to Spectre. That's why they couldn't use Spectre for so long. And it was a battle that Kevin McClory fought against the Broccoli's forever until he died. But that's a very apt comparison. But so if you think about it, 20th Century Fox at one point was going to make a Jack Bauer, John McClane 24 Die Hard crossover.
Right.
But it was thwarted by the rights issues. Predator was another thing that Toberoff was involved in because the rights to the original Predator reverted back to the writers. And when they made Prey, it couldn't be a theatrical release. That's why it was on Hulu. But they've figured out those rights. So Toberoff is a shark, man, and he does this all the time. But what I find really interesting about this, in the article it says that the writer of Roadhouse, he has what's called a loan-out company. So, like, I have a loan-out company. I get paid through my loan-out company. Well, they're trying to say that the rights to Roadhouse, well, you didn't write it on spec. You wrote it for your loan-out company. No, I wrote that. What, I wrote it for myself? I'm my loan-out company.
Yeah.
So they're playing some shenanigans, and Toberoff will come in. That guy's a bull in a china shop. He will make sure that those rights, he's a master of that. He's like the Jedi Knight of getting but studios won't let it happen. So Lyman has a legit claim. I think they have a legit claim that they can go and make that Roadhouse movie, and they will defeat Amazon if there's a legal battle, because he did write it, and he did write it on spec, and it was acquired by a studio. He did not write it under the auspices of a studio.
Well, here's the thing, though. The repercussions of that, though, keep going. It's not just about Lyman having the right to make this other movie. If a court decides that they do, guess who doesn't have a right to make their movie?
Right.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon's going to have to write, either scrap the whole thing and write it all off, or they're going to have to write a big juicy check to this guy to say, okay, can we please continue making our movie? Because it could be, this could get real messy.
And because the Roadhouse remake was done before the rights reverted back, I believe, to the original writer. So the original Roadhouse, it hadn't been 35 years yet. So Amazon was able to make their first movie. So now it's a mess. Do you know that this guy, Mark Toberoff, when Warner Brothers made the Dukes of Hazzard feature film, Dukes of Hazzard was based on either an indie movie.
When you refer to that movie, Rob, you also have to use the word masterpiece.
Okay.
Just please make sure you remember that.
But Warner Brothers got effed because Toberoff came in and said, you did not go and get the underlying rights to the movie that the Dukes of Hazzard TV show was based on. Because no one knew it was based on a movie.
Right.
And Toberoff, he came in and he got a lot of money from that. That guy's a shark. But this is a really interesting case. It'll be really interesting to see how it plays out. I'm excited.
So
I love stuff like this.
This is so good.
It's crazy. To quote Paradise, Doug Lyman was like, you should have let me have the Wii.
You should have just let me have it. This
Now they're going to have to pay the writer, and they have
nice reference.
Yep. All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? We don't just have one Roadhouse sequel in development right now. We got two of them. Maybe one, maybe none. I don't know. The drama here is delicious. Whatever you guys make of all this, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, Rob, it's that time again. It's about time to turn the page on the calendar. We're heading into a new month. November is nigh. By the time we come back to do the show on Monday,
Remember the 5th of November.
it's coming. Tomorrow's the last day of the month. So as we are off to do around here, we thought we would take a second here and kind of run down what we think are the big films coming out, the ones that we are most excited about.
I got to say, there's some embarrassing titles in this that I'm looking forward to.
I can't wait to hear your list. But so we're going to mention, I've got 7. Now there are others. There are some that are coming out that I'm not mentioning because I admittedly, like for instance, you're not going to see Now You See Me, Now You Don't on my list.
I almost added that because I have a special place in my heart for that franchise, but the third one doesn't look so good.
I've never liked the franchise. I haven't thought either of the other two were very good, but so it's not on my list. But I got 7 films here that I think you should be marking down to get out to see come November. By the way, I'm going to go see Begonia later today.
I'm
Very
seeing it
excited
tomorrow
about that.
after the show.
Very stoked about that. All right. Let's start off with this one. Coming from the House of Animation, Zootopia 2.
That's on my list.
I got to tell you, did you see the newest trailer?
Yes.
It's really charming.
Really charming.
I thought the first trailer was good.
I love the look of these movies.
They look great.
This looks really. Zootopia 2 looks good.
Again, I thought the first trailer for this new movie looked good.
Yeah.
The presentation at CinemaCon was good. The last trailer killed me.
Yeah.
It's got me. I'm now hooked. I'm all on board. I can't wait to see Zootopia 2. This is a surprisingly packed month.
Special shout out to Brandon. Animations for everyone.
All right. Also coming out in a limited theatrical release, but a theatrical release nonetheless. A franchise I am very much in love with. The newest film in the Knives Out series, Wake Up Dead Man, coming out. Going to be playing in a theater near you. Might have to search around for where the theaters will be. Again, it's a Netflix film, but it is getting theatrical.
Also on my list.
Oh my God. I love the first two. I really do. Like, I think I believe the first one is the better one.
Yeah, I agree.
But man, sometimes I rewatch the second one. I'm going, this is really close to the quality level of the first one. Like, I love them both. I think the trailers for this have looked fantastic. I want to get a Benoit Blanc movie every year. I want a new Benoit Blanc mystery every year. So Wake Up Dead Man is also coming out in November. All right. Under the category of sure to be a big blockbuster hit and a pretty big favorite at the Oscars, Wicked for Good.
Also on my list.
Also on your list.
We're 3 for 3 so far.
Listen, again, we talk about this whenever Wicked comes up, but I'll just for the sake of the discussion, I never went to go see the stage play. My wife did many times, but I never went to go see it. I'm not its target audience, obviously, but I was very impressed with the first one. And this one looks great, and it's going to be big. So Wicked for Good is the third film. The fourth one I want to mention is a film that I am breaking my almost 4-year streak of declining every press screening invite I've ever been given.
This one's also on my list.
I think I'm breaking my streak. The invitation for this one came in. I get these invites every week. Turned them down for almost 4 years. But then the press invite for this one came in, and I was about to, delete the email. There's something happened. I couldn't click it. I just had to respond, and I said, yes, I'll come to this one. It's Predator Badlands.
Oh, yeah.
Predator Badlands. I'm telling you, by the way, they just put out like a 7-minute scene out on YouTube. They just released it. That kind of gave you more context, right?
Yeah.
Where apparently our main Predator is like the son of Predator royalty. And like the Predator dad is like, says to his brother, kill your brother. Only in death can he honor us. Like, whoa, like what? Like, first of all, I don't know why you're showing this, but it must be like at the very, very beginning of the movie. I'm losing my mind with excitement.
I hope there's a Predator birthday party.
Predator birthday
I hope it
party.
takes place at a birthday party.
It's quinceañera.
I just know I am very, very, very excited for this. So much so that I'm breaking a 4-year streak and I'm actually accepting a press invitation to it, which is very, very rare for me. But Predator Badlands coming out. Just think about this already.
Is that 4 for 4? We're all the same so far.
Probably. Just this month, just from the ones we've mentioned already. Zootopia 2, Wake Up Dead Man, Wicked for Good, Predator Badlands.
And they're well so you can do almost like one a week, basically.
By the way, we're not even at to the art house fair yet, John.
No, we're not. And we do have a couple of those coming. But first, we're going to another one I'm very excited about.
I know what this is.
Glenn Powell's Running Man.
Hell yeah.
Edgar Wright has never disappointed us.
Our second Bachman book adaptation after The Long Walk.
Edgar Wright is like he's batting 1,000. He never disappoints us. Yeah, Glenn Powell to this, and the fact that this is not a remake of the Arnold Schwarzenegger. It is based on the same book that the Arnold Schwarzenegger is on, but this one is completely more accurate to the book, more faithful to the book. It's going to feel very different than the Arnold Schwarzenegger one. Rob, I've been stoked about this since they first showed us the previews for it at CinemaCon.
Totally.
We were like, because I'll be honest with you, I knew it was coming, but I was not excited about it. Even though it was Edgar Wright, I still wasn't excited about it. I kind of thought, why do this one? And then they showed us the previews of CinemaCon last April, and I'm like, oh my God, this looks amazing. All the trailers have been great. Super excited about this. Running Man. All right, I got 2 more, because that's 5.
By the way, just real quick, because we mentioned it was a novel, I just noticed the tagline of the novel, in America in 2025. When the best men don't run for president, they run for their lives.
Which makes it very timely.
Yep. And that's from 82.
All right, now I got 2 other ones for you. One has a top 1, 2, or 3, my favorite actor of all time. Top 1, 2, or 3. Russell Crowe
Yep.
in Nuremberg.
That's on my list too.
A thing about the trial of the Nazis after the war. The previews for it look thick and rich and deep. I think this movie's going to be awesome. And a lot of the awards pundits are saying Russell Crowe may very well be up there in those Oscar nomination lists for this. It looks amazing. Put this one on your list, guys, because this looks great. All right. Now, we're jumping over. I'm going to add on to a film here, a film by Osgood Perkins. The guy
Mine's on my list too, buddy.
The guy who did The Monkey and the guy who did Long Legs. He's got a new film with Orphan Black's Tatiana Maslany called Keeper. I've seen all the trailers. I've watched them multiple times. I don't really know what this movie's about.
Me neither.
And that normally, you guys who watch my show know this. Normally, that's a total turnoff for me. When I watch your trailers and I don't know what your movie's about, I'm like, if I don't know what your movie's about, why should I come see your movie? That right? But tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, baby.
Tone has hooked me.
It's just like Mulholland Drive. None of us knew what Mulholland Drive was about, even after we watched it.
I
Even
still
after you
don't
watch
know.
Mulholland Drive, you
I've
don't know what
owned
it's
multiple video formats, and I can't tell you what
Yeah,
that
we
movie's
still want
about.
Yeah, so I mean, this looks creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And again, Tatiana Maslany is one of the best actresses out there. She's multiple awards winner and all that kind of stuff. Even though I hated the She-Hulk show, she was great in it. So I would say 7 films. These are all coming out this month. Zootopia, the Knives Out film Wicked Dead Man, Wicked for Good, Predator Badlands, The Running Man, Nuremberg, and of course, Keeper. Those are my films. Rob, it sounds like those are the exact ones you picked out.
Exact
too.
ones, but I have more.
Oh, please add more.
I'm okay.
I know there are a few other more, but I wanted to limit it as much as I could.
Okay. I think this is a Netflix movie, and you're going to, I freely admit that
See, I was leaving off any streaming movies.
Yeah, I don't know.
Otherwise, I would have put Frankenstein on there.
Yeah, Frank. Okay, but that's already out kind of this month, so it's not.
Yeah, because that was in theaters. Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's Netflix. I don't. And this is a variation on a theme, the most unoriginal looking movie ever. But the trailer, I have to watch this movie.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah.
Is it Playdate?
Yes. 100%.
I gotta tell you,
100%. Alan
that is
Ritson,
a dumb-looking movie,
dude,
and I'm gonna watch it,
dude. I'm glad you feel the same way. But now, total Playdate. You know exactly what we're on the same wavelength. But now, let me go into.
Wait, so that's Amazon or is it,
I don't even know.
'Cause I think it's
You know,
Prime.
I think it's Amazon, and it's Reacher.
Yeah.
It's
it's Alan Ritson.
it's Alan Ritson.
Yeah.
In
And,
kind of what feels like should be a Mark Wahlberg movie.
And Kevin
Well,
James.
Yeah, Kevin
Well,
James. Yeah.
It's funny you say that because there's 2 more.
Oh, no.
The Mark Wahlberg sequel
Oh no.
to The Family with Michelle.
Oh,
the sequel
yeah.
to that, which by the way could be interchanged with Playdate, because it's the
Yeah.
same. They're all the same movie, John. They're all the same movie. But
I didn't like that first one.
but
I wanted.
I
to.
didn't either.
What's
But
it
I'm
called?
excited for the second
Family
one.
Man or
Yeah,
Family
something
Values
like
or
that. I don't even know. But that one's coming out too. But really, I've got a prestige title.
Family Plan. Thank you, Legacy of Kain.
Family
Plan. Yeah, I didn't like Family Plan, so I'm kind of ignoring
Okay,
this
but
one.
there's a movie, a really prestige title coming from director Lynn Ramsey that I can't wait to see coming off the festival circuit, starring J Law and Twilight Boy, called
yes.
Die My Love.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where if you look at it, Jennifer goes nuts. Katniss and was it Edward?
Edward.
Katniss and Edward. Katniss has postpartum depression, and things get crazy. And of course, Lynn Ramsey made You Were Never Really Here and made We Have to Talk About Kevin. She's an incredible director, and this film looks insane and right up my alley. So I can't wait to see this. There's one other movie that I saw a trailer for that looked good called Trap House, where like kids,
I missed that one.
young kids, like these kids from these parents have these kids that are fighting against drug cartels, and it looked good. It looked good, but again, one of these cheeseball. I like my B movies.
Okay, so let me throw this to you. Out of all the films that we've brought up,
What do I want to see?
you could
most?
only go to see one of them. Which one would it be? That's a tough question.
Okay, you know what? Running Man.
That's not a bad one.
I mean, normally I would go with Predator, but you know what? Having read the Bachman books when they came out back in the day, the Running Man movie bothered me so much. Look, do I own the 4K media book? I do. But I've never liked the Richard Dawson, Arnold Schwarzenegger Running Man because it bears no resemblance to the novel. I really want to see Running Man. It looks great to me. The notices, they've been showing it. People have seen it. Sure, Edgar Wright's at those screenings apparently, but people are saying it's great. I can't wait.
You know what? You would think that I would say Wake Up Dead Man, because I am excited for it. I really am. I'm going to go Predator Badlands.
It looks good. Everyone
Although
says...
Running Man would be a close second
Yeah,
to me.
well, the other ones would be Predator, just because we're genre fans, and I love the Predator movies. And by the way, Trachtenberg, this is his trilogy.
Yeah?
You know, after Prey, Killer of Killers. I loved Prey. I loved Killer of Killers. And this being a balls-to-the-wall science fiction fantasy thriller, like, I don't need to see the Predator trying to kill humans anymore. Because after AVP Requiem, when we know that the Predators have cities and they have jobs and I'm obsessed with the Predator homeworld. I want to see Predators, and this is just adding to the mythology of the, how do you pronounce their name? Yucha, or how you, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not pronounced. I'm not going to try.
I'm
to
like, where'd
pronounce
that word come from? That wasn't in the original Predator.
it. Maybe it was. Maybe Shane Black slid it in
Yeah,
the
we
script
just
somewhere.
don't know. Yucha, whatever. But I want to say, I love them. I love them. I want to go. I want to visit the Predator homeworld. Take me there, Calgon. Take me away.
All right, guys. There's a lot of really exciting looking films coming out in November. I'm actually really kind of stoked for, which is good because it's been a little slow lately. So I think November looks great. Which one are you looking forward to seeing the most? Is there a film you're really excited about that we didn't list here? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, Scream 7 was not the only trailer to come out. A trailer for Stranger Things Season 5 has come out. And while it looks like it should be called Stranger Things Senior Citizens, because these children are all grown-ass adults now. I think 2 of them are married, not to each other. I think a couple of them are married now.
11's married.
Yeah, 11's married. She's been married for a little bit now. I mean, these are all like grown-ass people now, but still. So the trailer comes out, and just general impression for it. My God, that's a good trailer.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good trailer.
There's
I was kind of floored by it. I thought it looked fantastic. It certainly didn't look like the scrappy, filmmakers that made this spunky kind of little, Dungeons and Dragons inspired story that we got in Stranger Things season. These are now blockbuster makers. And you can tell there's a difference between the budget of Stranger Things season 5 and the budget of Stranger Things season 1. You don't have to look much further beyond the trailer for that. I loved it. Vecna is a great villain. He looks great. And the ultimate inevitable conclusion that the Upside Down is now coming for the real world.
Yeah.
I mean, that was always the inevitable way this was going to go. Seeing David Harbour back in there is great. Seeing the kids who are all clearly adults now. Somebody in the live chat said they all have mortgages now. In there looks great. 11 looks great. The one thing I will say, because, you know, I heard somebody say this once and I can't get it out of my head now. When you really boil it down, Stranger Things is just really 11 versus whatever the big bad guy is. I mean, look, again, I say this as a fan of the show, okay? As somebody who even liked the season that most of you didn't like. I like all the seasons of this show, and I'm excited about it. But I heard somebody once say, you know, when you really boil it down, you could just jump to the last episode and have 11 walks in the room to fight the big bad guy. That's not unfair to say, because really when I look back on a lot of that, and sure enough, when I watch this trailer, it's one thing great to see all the kids gather around a table saying, let's find Vecna and end this once and for all. What are you gonna do?
Well, they were a support team.
What are you gonna? It's like 11's running the marathon.
roadies.
You're gonna be the guy holding out a bottle of water.
Well,
that's your role to play in all this.
You don't go to the end of Return of the King just to watch Frodo drop the ring in the fire. It's the journey.
This is true. But Frodo wasn't the powerful guy in the group.
Oh, yes, he was. He had Hobbit power.
He had Hobbit power. Listen,
He had strength of character and heart.
he did. You know what? And at the end of the day, it's character over talent. I think the trailer, don't misinterpret me. I think the trailer looks bonkers good. It really does. But we all know where this is going. This is going to be 11 fighting Vecna at the end. Both fulfilling their sort of destinies. And that's fine along the way. Still, the trailer was great. Remember, the job of every trailer is to take your enthusiasm level, no matter where it is, if it's high, if it's low, doesn't matter. Take that enthusiasm level, that excitement level, that interest level, and bump it up. I was already really looking forward to Stranger Things Season 5. This trailer made me wish I could just load up Netflix and start watching it right now. It looks really good. I was excited about it. Anyway, Rob, you saw the trailer for Stranger Things Season 5. What do you think about it?
Dude, you know, when she unleashes her power and you've got the explosion of energy, that, and you hear the Queen, you know, who wants to live forever.
Okay, by the way, Lifton Highlander soundtrack there.
Of course, but it
worked really well.
But it's the same year.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this going, dude, it was getting to me. I'm like, oh, I got that whoosh that you want. Like something, hey, I've got this emotional response. I'm in. I mean, even though if you think about it, like, the idea of the Upside Down, if the whole world has the Upside Down, you'd think that Vecna might like come out of the Upside Down in like Hawaii, where he's nowhere near the 11. And if he wants to take over the world, maybe, I mean, only, I guess the portals are only in this town and in Russia. So you got, you know, the Russian
That's right. They
portals.
did explain that narratively.
Yeah, it's destroyed. But you'd think that somebody like the North Koreans might have opened a panel or something to the underneath, but the Upside Down. But that's okay. You know, so
We'll let it go.
Yeah, we'll let it go. But it look, this looked great. It looked epic. They said every episode's like a feature film.
They lied. They lied because we covered on the show that the actual run times of the first 4 episodes, and ain't none of them close to feature length.
But
time.
we'll
this
see
how the further ones.
Yeah,
do.
But they look like feature films. I mean, this looks epic.
The final one will be feature length for sure. Because
I can't wait.
Oh yeah,
I'm
the final episode is definitely gonna be feature length because they're putting that out in theaters.
Yeah, and you know, I like the characters. I like the actors. I just like Stranger Things. Justice for Barb.
Justice for Barb. I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's got to come back.
babe.
By the way, it's the Upside Down. Not
The Upside Down. The underneath.
Somebody put in the live chat. Joe Adonis said the underneath is Walmart's brand version of the Upside Down.
Temu.
The Temu version of the Upside Down. All right, guys. Question is for you. Did you have a chance to see this Stranger Things Season 5 trailer? I thought it was great. Again, I'm trying to be balanced here, but it does kind of lean into that one thing that the one guy said, that ultimately, really, this is just about 11 versus whatever the big bad guy is. I don't care. The characters are great. It looks wonderful. It looks like a lot of fun. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's go on and talk about this, shall we? You guys know, if you watch my show, one of my favorite films this year was Superman. I enjoyed that movie so much. Granted, Man of Steel is still my favorite Superman movie of all time. My boy Henry is still my boy. But I loved the new Superman movie. I thought it was great. And we're getting into awards season. And so the other day, Warner Brothers has launched their FYC, that is for your consideration, Oscar campaign for Superman. Doing the big Oscar push. And Jonathan, we're going to bring up the Campea Classroom.
Oh, right now?
Right now.
As if I wasn't prepared.
As if you weren't ready for it. All right. Super Oscars, here's the things they are putting out for your consideration. They're putting out consideration for Best Picture for Peter Safran and James Gunn as producers. Best Director for James Gunn. Best Adapted Screenplay by James Gunn. Best Actor for David Cornsweet. Best Supporting Actor for all Nicholas Hoult, Edie Gathegi, Anthony Carrigan, and Nathan Fillion. Best Casting for John Papsidera. Best Cinematography for Henry Brown. Best Film Editing. Best Production Design. Best Costume Design. Best Makeup and Hair. Best Sound. Best Visual Effects. Original Score. And Best Original Song.
They're going to sweep. It's going to be a total sweep.
All sweep.
Yep.
Lord of the Rings record.
Yep.
Say goodbye.
Forget it. You're snapped.
Here comes the Kryptonian. You're snapped. All right. I thought, let's run down all these things they're submitting for. And let's give our thoughts on the chances it has. We'll go through this quickly. All right. We're going to start off with Best Original Song. The Mighty Crabjoys theme, written by James Gunn, Eric Nally, whatever. Performed by the Mighty Crabjoys. This is not Punk Rocker from the end of the movie.
Right.
Some of you may not know, but that song is actually an older song. It was not made for the movie. It's an existing song. Does not qualify for an Oscar. If it was an original song.
Oh, yeah.
With the teddy bears and what's his name? Why am I free? Punk rock. Iggy Pop. If it was Iggy Pop and the Teddy Bears did an original song for Superman, I would say, Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters have a run for their money, because Punk Rocker, I listen to that song at least once a week. This has no chance.
Zero.
So you're going to agree with me on that. This has zero chance getting nominated. All right. Original score, John Murphy, David Fleming. I thought the music in this movie was very good. It's not Oscar, though.
Nope.
It's not there. So I'm not going to say zero. I'll say 5% chance, maybe. All right. Next one. Best visual effects. This is where it has its most serious, I think, contention.
Yeah.
I thought the visual effects in it were great. I really did. I especially like when the city starts splitting apart. I love the design and the look at the kaiju in the city. I just thought it all looked really great. I'm going to go out and say 70% chance this gets 65. I'll go 65% chance this gets a nomination for best visual effects. Rob.
I'd say that. Sure. There's a lot of different, I think there's a lot of people that talked about they didn't like the visual effects of this. It's a style issue.
It's style. Yeah. The visual effects were impeccable.
The design of the effects and all that worked really, really well. But there's a lot of people that object. Like the kaiju kind of was a fun, cutie creature.
But the effect of it
was great. Yeah. And that's what people sometimes get caught up in.
All right. Next, best sound. You know what? I considered this at first. I'm like, yeah, but then I really thought about it. The sound design of this movie is fantastic. Like, really good.
It is.
So I'm not going to say it's likely to get a nomination, but I wouldn't bet a lot of money against it either. I'll go like 30%.
Yeah.
30% I'll say that.
You know it's going to win.
It gets what's that?
Your God has no dominion here.
Well, we got to see it first to know if that has a chance.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Just give it all.
It's Jimmy C, man. Come on.
All right. The next category they're submitting for here is best makeup and hair. Well done. Costume design is very good. The makeup is all very good. Hair design is all very, really good. Nothing exceptional. Solid, but not Oscar contending. So I'm gonna go just like 5% on this. Your thoughts?
Frankenstein. I think small. I think you're right. 5%.
All right. Best costume design. We'll use this as a nice segue to mention, don't forget to keep your eyes open for the next episode of Designing Hollywood.
That's right.
Who we have in the next episode?
The cinematographer of both Frankenstein and John Wick 2, 3, and 4. It's a great conversation. You will have it today.
Great.
So keep your guys' eyes open for that. But no, I do not see costume design getting one here. Good costume design in it, by the way. I like the look of the Justice Gang and everything, but I don't see it getting a nomination.
No. Tough competition this year for that.
Production design. Again, I thought this was very good production design of the whole thing, right from the Justice Building to everything else. I
Daily
thought
Planet, the Pocket
very
Universe.
well done. Not getting an Oscar nomination, though. Rob?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, just look as a comparison, like Sinners.
It could get get a nomination, but
Yeah, I don't see it getting. Remember, we're talking about its chances of getting a nomination.
Yeah.
I just don't like. Again, very, very well done. I thought they did a very good job, but it's not Oscar level, so I don't see that happening. All right. Best film editing. Again, very solid job.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't getting a nomination. I just don't see that happening. Rob?
I don't either.
All right. So we got a couple we thought so far. Best cinematography. Again, very good for the movie. It's not getting it's not top 5. It's not getting an Oscar nomination. This one could be interesting, though.
Yeah.
First year.
Best casting. And I almost brushed over this one, like I almost did for sound design. This movie is perfectly cast.
And you also had to find that Superman.
You had to find that Superman. You had to find the perfect chemistry Lois Lane with him. But everything from Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl,
Mr. Terrific.
Gathegi as Mr.
Amazing.
Terrific, Holt as Lex Luthor.
Well, Jimmy, come on. He kind of stole
Jimmy
the
was
show.
even Jimmy
Wendell
was great.
Pierce, who even though he
Yeah,
deserves
the small
was
role, but
underutilized,
still, that's
but
that's a
Jimmy's
big
role
part of the
was-
casting.
Jimmy was great
He
too.
was more of a standout than I thought.
The smaller characters, stuff like that, that becomes key. Listen, again, this is one of those things where I'm going to go, I'm not going to bet money that it'll get nominated, but I'm not going to bet money against it either, because I actually think the casting of the film was perfection.
Yeah.
I really think they nailed it. And remember, it's not about whether you think the movie's good or not. This is best casting. I think it has a shot here. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this?
I do too, because like you said, it's the first year that we're going to see the Casting Academy Award, and this is an ensemble cast. And I think that when you have ensemble casts, that's when a casting director can really shine, because they have to fill. Look, when you're casting 2 big movie stars in a role, that's how you finance the film. So there's not a lot that a casting director does if you've already cast your 2 leads. Like when you have J-Law and you've got Twilight Boy in a movie together, the casting director didn't have much to do with that. But this, they went long time search. They did chemistry reads. I'm sure the casting director, Jimmy Olsen was kind of an offbeat choice, bringing that in.
Totally worked for me, though.
And it really was he was great. Everybody was great. The ensemble cast of this movie is terrific. I think it absolutely has
How
a shot.
good was Kerrigan, too, as Metamorpho?
Yeah, great.
Like, he was so good.
So good. And I think that this really has a shot at first time.
Yeah, again, I'm not going to bet money that it will.
Sure.
I just ain't going to bet money that it won't.
But I think it's definitely in the running for
In the
nomination.
conversation.
All right. We move on now to Best Supporting Actor. They got a number of names in here. Anthony Kerrigan, Eddie Gathegi, Nicholas Hoult, Nathan Fillion. I love the job every single one of them did. I would even say above Nicholas Hoult, who I think is a great Lex Luthor. I think if any of these were to get a nomination, it would be Eddie Gathegi as Mr. Terrific. He slayed it. He kind of low-key almost stole the movie.
Yeah, he was really, really good. I agree with you.
I think if it's any of them, it's Eddie Gathegi. But I don't think it's going to be any of them. I'm just being real here, guys. I don't think any of them are going to get a nomination. I'm just saying if there was going to be one, possibly Nicholas Hoult, but I would think above Nicholas Hoult, I might even put Eddie Theggy. So there's that one. All right. Best actor, David Cornsweet. David did a great job, much like Henry before him. Both Henry and David had to come into a Superman role, a long historied character, embody Superman, and yet truly make it their own at the same time. Much like the great legacy of actors who have played Joker at different times. Every Joker very different from each other, but all essentially Joker. I thought David Cornsweet did a very good job, much like Henry, of coming in and making it his Superman. Very different from Henry's, just like Henry's was very different from Brandon's, just like Brandon's was very, very different from Christopher's, and so on and so forth. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's not a Best Actor Academy Award performance. I'm not saying that can't happen later on, maybe, but not for this one. It's no. David Cornsweet's not getting a nomination for Best Actor for this. Rob, your thoughts?
I totally agree with you. He did great as Superman, but the role, it wasn't. It just wasn't a best. The role wasn't written to win Best Actor.
That's exactly.
So it was written for the movie, but I mean, yeah.
All right. Then they're campaigning for Best Adapted Screenplay for James Gunn. I thought it was a really solid script. I thought it was a really great little story to set up the new cinematic universe, but it's not an Academy level thing.
No.
It's just not. So we're not even going to talk about that. Same thing with direction. I think Superman is a great launch to a new cinematic universe. I really do. I don't see James Gunn getting a best. Look, I'd be shocked. I don't even know if he makes it on the ballot, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
so there's that. Well, then let's get to the big one. They're campaigning for Best Picture. I've already said this is one of my favorite films of the year. I loved it. Not my favorite Superman movie of all time. That's Henry Cavill. But I loved it. But let's be real. Superman, as much as I enjoyed it, it's not even my favorite comic book movie of the year.
Right.
Like for me, that's Thunderbolts. So if I can't even say it's my favorite comic book movie of the year, again, it is a great start to a new comic book cinematic universe. But it ain't Sinners. And it ain't one battle after another. And it ain't Nuremberg. And it ain't Marty Extreme. And it ain't, it's just, it's folly to think that this has a chance at a Best Picture nomination. I'm going to go out and say no chance. Rob?
No chance. No chance.
If you had to play devil's advocate and you were the one hired by the studios to go out and make the case for Superman getting a Best Picture nomination, how would you argue it? Understanding that both of us say it doesn't have any chance, but if you had to argue its merits, how would you argue it?
Well, I would say that James Gunn set out to make a movie and he succeeded admirably. I just think that there's a 2-hour and 45-minute version of this movie that's better than what was theatrically released. You can see, we've seen clips and we've seen things in the behind the scenes. And I think they were just being very cognizant of the fact that they had to make a film that couldn't be 2 hours and 45 minutes or 2 hours and 30 minutes or 2 hours and 20 minutes. This is a tight 2-hour film. And I think that they had to lose a lot of stuff, to flesh it out, but they made it work. So, he succeeded in doing what he needed to do, relaunch a universe. That's not an easy thing to do. That's what I would say. But it wouldn't be with great conviction because I don't think this is going to win Best Picture.
I don't think it's not about win. Does it even get nominated?
No.
And I just don't see it remotely getting nominated. So I think if I were to say the ones it has its best chances for, I think sound is one of them. I think casting is legitimately one of those ones it's got a shot at. And I think obviously visual effects. I think visual effects. Now, it may get none of those. It may get all three of those, but those are the ones that I think it has its most legitimate shots at. If you had to pick one or two, which ones do you think it is?
Well, casting definitely. I mean, did you say visual effects? I think visual effects. Yeah, visual effects. And maybe supporting actor, Eddie Gathegi. I could see that happening.
Really? Really? You think there's an outside
Maybe,
shot
yeah,
for that one?
because he was so good.
He was so good. He defined it.
The problem is, I still think the Academy is biased against superhero films.
It's getting harder and harder every year to make that argument with
I
the amount
know,
of superhero stuff getting
but I think
recognized.
this movie in particular is very much a superhero movie. You know, no one's going to mistake it for anything but that. So,
all right, guys. Question is for you. Warner Brothers has launched its for your consideration Oscar campaign for Superman. Which categories, if any, or all of them, do you think it has a real legitimate shot at maybe getting a nomination? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? You know, one of the biggest stunner pieces of news that I've heard in movies in a while was that Taylor Sheridan, in all of entertainment really, is leaving Paramount. He's got two separate deals with Paramount, a movie deal and a television deal. His movie deal ends in mid-2026 sometime. His television deal ends at the end of 2028. And we already know where he's going. He signed a new overall deal with NBC Universal, Comcast, Universal Studios. Now, he can't start making TV shows for them until the end of 2028, the beginning of 2029. And he's still got to make movies for Universal or for Paramount until mid-2026. So then he can go over and start making movies for Universal. But Paramount is going, well, TikTok, we only got him for a little bit longer. Let's put him to work. And oh, this news came out just about a half hour before we started today's show. This is huge. It is being announced in Deadline. Taylor Sheridan and a director I like very much,
Me too.
Peter Berg, are making a Call of Duty movie. If you're not a gamer, believe me when I tell you, this is a big story without Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg's name in this. Paramount moving forward with a live-action Call of Duty movie, that's going to get a lot of eyeballs. Taylor Sheridan. Forget all of his remarkable television stuff. This is the guy behind Wind River and Sicario and Hell or High Water. This guy is doing Call of Duty? A couple of those, by the way, he did with Peter Berg. They've worked together on several really, really good projects and films. Anyway, the folks over at Deadline are writing the following. After landing the rights to turn one of the world's biggest video games into an epic movie, Paramount has now landed two A-list filmmakers to develop it. Sources tell Deadline that Yellowstone creator Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg have joined Paramount and Activision to develop and produce a Call of Duty movie with Paramount distributing a live-action feature film. The pick will be designated or will be designed to thrill its massive global audience fan base by delivering on the hallmarks of what players love about the games. A series of first-person shooters centered on military campaigns while expanding the franchise to entirely new audiences. Berg and Sheridan will co-write, with Berg on board to direct. Berg will produce with his team, and Sheridan is also producing alongside his partner, of course, David Glazer, who is also going to be going over to Universal at the end of his deal. Listen, we now live in a world, because just a few years ago, this wasn't the case. We today live in a world where video game content is now valid movie source material. This is a relatively new thing. Because while they've been making video game movies for a very, very, very long time, you of course know the mantra of the three things that are true in life. Death, taxes, and video game movies all suck. But that started to change a couple of years ago. We got now video game stuff getting nominated for the highest honors in television, with Last of Us getting a whole bunch of Emmys and all this kind of stuff. God of War coming, Fallout, Sonic, and I'm sure I'm missing one or two there as well. So, I mean, this is a world, and now, you know what this feels like to me, Rob? This feels like when comic book movies started getting real legitimate filmmakers and real legitimate big name actors getting on board with them. We're like, oh my God, Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg. Now, of course, the greatest showrunner of all time, Ronald D. Moore, has already signed up to do God of War. Can't wait for that. But I'll tell you what, man, if you're Paramount and you realize, okay, Sheridan's throwing us to the curb, but we still have him under contract for a while. If him and Peter Berg want to do a Call of Duty movie, let's let him do it, and let's do it fast. Because they bought the rights to it. Paramount's got the rights to it. Listen, would I personally be excited about a Call of Duty movie? Well, it's just another military film, right? It's probably just going to be another generic military film. But you attach Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg to it, now it could be something really special. This is exciting news, and I think a lot of people are going to be really stoked about this. Anyway, Rob, you heard about this. What do you think?
I'm with you. I mean, Peter Berg made a movie called The Kingdom. I don't know if you ever saw that when they were investigating that bombing and stuff. I mean, this is in his wheelhouse, man. Because you've got Taylor Sheridan, you're going to get characters like Yellowstone, Friday Night Lights, great characters, real crunchy, chewy Americana, kick-ass soldier characters. They're going to make the world safe. I mean, I'm stoked, dude. I think this is Peter Berg's great for this. There's nothing about this that isn't exciting to me. And I love the Call of Duty franchise. I remember that first Call of Duty it was the Saving Private Ryan storming the beach at, Dog 1 and Dog 2 at Normandy. That was that. I remember playing that thinking video games have transcended Pong. Finally, I mean, I remember I've always loved Modern Warfare. I mean, there's so many rich things. Modern Warfare 2. There's so many cool things that have happened in Call of Duty games that they could just draw from.
Do they put zombies in it, though?
No.
Because Taylor Sheridan is like, I've always wanted to do something with zombies.
Yeah, no.
Not that one. And Berg's done a lot of military movies, right? So this is in his wheelhouse. You combine that with when Taylor Sheridan and Berg have worked together, they've created some movie magic. So listen, I said before, take Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg out of it. This is an exciting, notable story that Call of Duty movie's getting together. But I would say the opposite is true as well. Take Call of Duty out of it. And Paramount just announcing they're going to do a movie with Taylor Sheridan and Peter Berg developing it together. That by itself is exciting.
Well, what they would deliver are great characters.
Yes.
And you think about, while Peter Berg didn't direct Hell or High Water, but those characters, both the brother characters and then Jeff Bridges and his cop characters. Like, I love the scene in that movie when they go sit down at the diner and there's the old lady and she's like, what do you not want?
Yeah. What don't you want?
What don't you want? It's such a great.
You either don't want the potatoes or you don't want the vegetables.
Yeah. I mean, it's so good.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you make of this news? Taylor Sheridan, the guy behind Yellowstone, Tulsa King, Landman, 1883, Mayor of Kingstown, wrote Sicario, Wind River. Hell or High Water. This guy and Peter Berg are developing a Call of Duty live action film.
Hell yeah.
I think there's a lot of upside to this. Guys, whatever you think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to move on to the most important part of our show, which is, of course, taking your live comments and questions. But before we get to that, we're going to take a second and bid good afternoon to writer, director, producer Robert Meyer Burnett. Great job as always, my friend.
Thank you, John. I want to tell everyone our movie White Devils will be available to watch, to rent, to buy, whatever, for a week worldwide, just for Halloween.
Looking forward to it. All right. With that all down, guys, let's get over to, we got some time here, so let's get over to your questions, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up first?
There are some who call him Tim. Says, hello, gents. I just got out of watching Tron Ares in the ScreenX format at Regal. Not sure if I would care for the movie as much if it wasn't for the surrounding screen. Have you watched a movie in this format? If so, what did you think?
I have not.
No,
and
no,
I gotta admit, while I think the idea of them, for those of you who don't know, it's like big movie screen in the center, then two other movie screens kind of on an angle shooting out from it, and like the whole thing surrounds you, right? I think I would just be distracted by that if I went in to watch a movie in it. Now, I can't say that definitively because I haven't done it myself, but it just doesn't inherently appeal to me. So I have not. Jonathan, have you ever gone to one of those?
No, I haven't. I mean, essentially what it does is they have to either shoot extra footage or the company who does it shoots extra footage, and it just expands like the scenery around you. So yeah, sometimes it just kind of feels from the images I've seen and videos I've seen of the test. It's like, it just kind of expands your field of, but nothing action wise is happening over there. Like you're not seeing Thanos fight. If this was Avengers Endgame, you're not seeing Thanos fighting the Avengers off to your right. Everything is still in the center screen where it normally is. Just the environment's expanded.
All right. What's next?
We got Garden Variety with the possible sale of Warner Brothers and IP. Does the purchaser also get the comic book rights for DC as well as movie? Yeah, everything. They get everything that they own.
It depends. Because remember, Warner Brothers has already talked about splitting up the company.
Yeah, but I feel like that's amongst medium, don't you?
Right, yes. But it is what exists is a possibility that an offer may come in to buy certain pieces.
True. So like if they had like rights to video game like development and whatever.
Yeah,
they could
like
piece that out
DC has its own company. I mean, that could be parsed out. Now, to Jonathan's point, what is far more likely is that somebody's going to come in and buy like the whole umbrella of Warner Brothers, either just the movie side division with HBO Max as well, or the television side. But I have a feeling whatever Warner Brothers Studios and HBO Max, whatever bundle that's part of, DC is just going to go along with it. So it is highly, highly, highly probable, not highly likely, highly probable that whoever picks up Warner Brothers will also get the entire DC company.
That would be interesting, though, parsing out DC, and then that goes to someone else. Like, that would be very interesting.
Again, but see, that takes away a lot of the value of Warner Brothers Studios because DC is one of their, richest potential gold mines there. So it'd be weird. But again, it's possible they could do that. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Felix, I think. I'm probably putting the wrong emphasis there. I've recently watched No Country for Old Men. I loved it, except two big things. The Brolin character dies off screen, and no resolve with the killer at the end. It does sort of end. I really loved it until those two details near the end. Why? What did you guys think?
I don't agree with you that things didn't resolve with him at the end. Like, because it kind of sounds you're saying resolve mean the bad guy has to die. That's not a resolution. Anyway, so I disagree with you on that. But I still remember my very first review of No Country for Old Men. That whole killing Josh Brolin off screen was the dumbest thing in that movie. And the movie's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I love that movie. But the decision to take this main character because really, when you're watching movies, we get on board with a character and we travel through the story with those characters. And he was the main one. And then for him to just suddenly die, by the way, he died. What? He's the main character. He's kind of been the main character of the movie up to this point, and you just killed him off screen? That was, I think, a preposterous, stupid decision. In an otherwise absolute masterpiece of a film. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that one. All right, what's next?
Tack. When I watch a Tron film, I'm looking for three things. Does it look awesome? Is the music awesome? Am I constantly saying, holy crap, that's cool? And I'm happy to report Tron Ares hit all three for me. One of Disney's 25 standout films for me.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it all depends on which things impact you more. Because, to me, Tron Ares was okay. I didn't think it was bad. There were bad things about it, but overall I thought it was okay, mostly because I thought the visuals were really good. I thought the music was fantastic. And they had a few other things going for it. But if those are the things that to you make the biggest impact, then your overall experience with the film will be much more elevated than mine was. Because while I appreciate those elements, they're not the most important things to me. That's a great example of why I always try to remind my fellow film fans. Film is subjective. Just because a movie hits you a certain way doesn't mean it's going to hit the guy next to you the same way. Because different things have different responses from us. So, yeah, listen, if the number one things you go into it with, the things that really make an impact on you are great visuals, great music, that sort of thing, then I have no doubt you're going to come out of Tron Ares really, really having had a good time. They're not as elevated for me, so I still thought the movie was okay, but not that great. But that's a great example of that.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Ton says, Domain Entertainment popped out of nowhere. How did they produce almost all of WB and Paramount's films this year? Their rise is crazy.
I don't know much about them. I don't know if they're just a subdivision, much like Columbia is a subdivision of Sony. So when you see Columbia, it's really actually just Sony. So I really don't know. I haven't really followed that, but you're right. You're seeing that logo pop up all over the place. So I'm not really well versed on it, to be honest with you. All right, what's next?
We got Considered Chaos. That Scream 7 trailer looks so freaking good. Having gotten to meet Matthew Lillard last year, I'm really excited to see this movie and see how he plays a part in it. I know you were really surprised by 5 and enjoyed 6. Any interest in seeing 7?
Yeah, I gotta say I'm interested in seeing 7. And you know what? I also recently had the opportunity to meet Matthew Lillard. He and I were both at the premiere of a movie of a friend of mine. Had directed a movie, and Matthew was there, and I bumped into him at the concession stand line. He was there with his son, and couldn't have been nicer. So it's going to be, again, I have an overall issue with this series in the sense that there's no Ghostface. It's just a different wannabe every movie slapping on a Halloween season costume and saying, now I'm a killer. But like you said, I had a lot of fun with 5, and I liked 6. So, we'll see where this one goes.
All right. We go on to, we read that one. Here, SB. Hey, John, do you watch Dave Ramsey? Just wondering because your views as far as a credit card and loans align with his. We all need to take a page from y'all's book. Watch the Ramsey show every morning then wait for yours. Makes my week so much better. Thank you.
You know what's funny? I had not really ever heard of him. So for those of you who don't know, maybe a year ago now, or maybe a little under a year ago, I made this little editorial video because a lot of people ask me questions. So I made an editorial video about the best money advice, the money principles that have been passed to me. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. I'm just telling you what has worked for me, what's been passed on to me, and what has worked for me. So I did this video about it. And then a whole bunch of people mentioned in the comments, this is almost exactly what Dave Ramsey says. I had no idea who Dave Ramsey was. Now, pardon me, when I went to go look him up, I'm like, oh, I've seen this guy before. I've seen some of his videos pop up before. So I was familiar with him. I just didn't know the name Dave Ramsey or whatever. But
yeah.
But now I'm very well acquainted with him. And yeah, he has very sound financial principles that are I like it obviously because it's already very much aligned with my own. Things like, don't buy things on credit cards. Don't buy things on payment plans. If you can't afford to buy it outright, that means you can't afford it. Have an emergency fund set aside, invest your money, blah, blah, like all that kind of stuff is all stuff he believes in too. So obviously when you find somebody who already believes the stuff that you believe, you kind of naturally already like them. So yeah, I wasn't really familiar with them until everybody kind of pointed that out in that video of mine. All right, what's next?
We got C. Fletch with a 2-parter. Have you seen Scream 7 trailer that came out today? Keep me honest. I feel like there was a time studios didn't want to have the number in the title for fear it would turn general audiences off, as they would think they would need to watch 1 through 6 first. But now having the number in title, i.e. Scream 7, is a good thing because folks will be curious and go back and watch the rest. So that helps studio streaming numbers. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, forever a sequel would be blah, blah, blah 2, blah, blah, blah 3, blah, blah, blah 4. Then kind of came the subtitles. Blah, blah, blah 3, The Reckoning. Blah, blah, blah 4, Oops, I Pooped My Pants. Blah, 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 blah 5, The New Reckoning. Whatever. And then they started taking out the numbers. And I've always thought that's a really stupid thing. I mean, if you look at something like the James Bond franchise has always just had its own unique names. That's fine. Because they're not really a franchise per se in the traditional sense.
Right.
What they have found out is that if you put out blah, blah, blah subtitle without a movie, without a number, people who haven't seen the previous ones still feel that way and think, oh, if I haven't seen the previous one, I can't see this. So
Right.
that didn't change. But what it has done is that it makes it historically confusing.
Yes.
5 or 6 years later, well, wait, which one came first? You have Thor, like for example, Thor, Love and Thunder, Thor, Ragnarok, Thor, The Dark World. Like at some point, people are going to look back and go, I mean, there are already people today goes, oh, if I want, what's the order of these? When does this one come this? As opposed to Iron Man, they just did Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3. And so to me, the best option is the hybrid. You know, Breakin' 2, in all seriousness, Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mm-hmm.
Franchise name, number, subtitle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the best way to go. I think that's the best of both worlds, and that's the way I hope they do it moving forward. All right, what's next?
Got Anonymous who says the Terminal List show Dark Wolf already followed the exact structure and plot beats of modern Call of Duty campaign. Have you seen any of that? The
I have
Terminal
not.
List?
I have not. I didn't
Yeah.
watch the first season. I haven't seen the second season, which is weird because I'm a big Chris Pratt fan. I really, really like Chris Pratt, but I've never watched a single episode of it, so I don't really know it much.
Mm.
All right, what's next?
Martin says, do you think there's room at NBC for Taylor Sheridan and Dick Wolf, or is this the beginning of the end for the Law and Order and Chicago universes?
What does one have to do with the other?
Yeah, one's network TV and
One's network TV that needs to have 20 or 30 shows running at the same time. Taylor Sheridan will have 2 or 3.
yeah.
So yeah, what one has nothing to do with the other. I mean, they're not only do they have room for them, they have room for them and about 15 other key creative show writers
Yeah.
that they're going to need and more.
What dictates that is, do the viewers have room for it, and are they tuning in? Because if they're tuning in, then the sponsors are showing up, and it's off to the races.
All right, what's next?
Stubble McShave saw the trailer for Fackham Hall. It looks ball bouncingly funny, although that's released in early December and not November.
I'm going to be
I
honest
haven't
with
even
you,
heard of that.
not even heard of it.
The
Not
heel?
even heard of it.
Yeah, I'd have to look that up.
So unfortunately, I cannot comment on it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Mr. I, is this our last? Oh no, we have a couple more. Mr. I says, is this quietly the year of Stephen King? You have 4 wide release movies: The Monkey, The Life of Chuck, The Long Walk, and the upcoming Running Man. 2 of the movies. Oh, and don't forget Welcome to Derry on HBO.
Yeah.
Movies are
Which
held,
he did not write, but it's based on his thing. Yeah.
his IP. 2 of the movies are held in high regard. Can't remember how The Monkey did. R-rated, looks great.
Here's the thing. There are many years that you could say that about Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
There have been several years where multiple Stephen King based projects have gone in. That's just one of his things. So listen, if The Long Walk had been the smash hit that it deserved to be, because that movie's really good and almost nobody went to go see it. And it's really good. If some of those projects were more needle moving, maybe, but I would not necessarily call this the year of Stephen King. Because I don't know that it stands out terribly much from other years that I've had other big Stephen King things. Anyway. All right, what's next?
All right. Now, this is our final of the tips here. David from Bag End. I love arguing at my screen with you, Rob and Jonathan. Thanks for reminding people that all art is subjective. I used to be ridiculed for my film interests, e.g. How to Train Your Dragon over 2012 movie. Made new friends because we bonded over your show.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that's the great thing. I often, when I go to the movie meetups, often I'll have like people say, or who meet me online even will say, I don't always agree. I'm like, let me stop you right there. If we always agree, there'd be a problem. We're not supposed to agree. That's the point. Because we're different people and art will hit us in different ways and different things will have more meaning to us and more impact to us. And we should feel differently. That's the point. I often say on this show, and I've always said that there are 2 things that are not my job. Number 1, it is not my job to say things that you agree with. Second thing that is not my job, it is not my job to convince you to agree with me. That is also not my job. My job is to give you my point of view on something and thoroughly explain and clearly explain why that is my point of view. The ideal outcome of me explaining my point of view and why I hold it is not to have you agree with me. It's to help you sharpen and clarify why you either agree with me or help you sharpen and clarify exactly why you disagree with me. If somebody walks away from one of my videos or a conversation that we have with an even more clear, sharply defined vision and idea about why they disagree with me, then that's me doing my job. You know, we're not supposed to agree every time. We're film fans. Film is subjective. We're all going to feel different ways about it. And that is not a bad thing about film. That is the best thing about film. That is the best thing about the art, is that it strikes us all differently. It's not a weakness. There are too many segments online that try to gather people into, what's the best word that I'm looking for?
A bubble?
Tribes.
A tribe?
There are too many people online, too many cancerous things online that try to divide things into tribes. You are supposed to love this and you are supposed to hate this. And if you come across anybody that likes the things that we as a tribe have decided you're supposed to hate, that kills fandom.
Oh, yeah, because they even go after you personally. Oh, so you're one of those awful people who wants to murder everybody. It's
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I don't know. I just had a different opinion, but okay.
It is the worst, most destructive thing about fandom. Absolutely. You know what ruins fandom? It's not George Lucas making a bad prequel or Rian Johnson making a bad sequel. That's not what ruins fandom. What ruins fandom are certain fans lacking the basic ability to go, I didn't like that, but I'm super happy if you did. That's what ruins fandom. J.J. Abrams didn't ruin fandom. George Lucas didn't ruin your childhood. What ruins fandom are people with the inability to go, hey, I really didn't like this myself, but if you did, that's awesome. The inability to do that is what ruins fandom. Not the people who just do the best job they can making movies. And sometimes they make great movies. And sometimes they make horrible, terrible movies. But that doesn't ruin fandom. Fandom ruins fandom. And that's something that, you know, I think we all need to be, including myself, we all need to be more aware of. Anyway. All right, guys. And that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making our little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions. Number one, because it gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show, thank you guys so very much for your support. Again, big thank you to Robert Meyer Burnett, our technical producer, Jonathan Voico.
See you guys later.
My name's John Campea. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.